So what this sets up for us as we head into the fourth quarter and colder winter months, when seasonally we would expect less demand anyway. How's it going, everybody? My name is Christopher McGee. Welcome to the Numbers and the Nuances, where you come every week in order to know exactly what's going on in Utah's housing market. Got Doraldinho with me.
Nice to meet you guys.
Good to have him here, and he'll just ask any questions or give the comments that come to him as being the new guy heading into real estate. I kind of like your hair just flip back like that.
Oh, really?
I can see your face better now. Yeah, like usually you walk, either you're doing the do-rag or it's like down in your eyes, and I'm like, he's in there somewhere, but yeah, there's your face. That's good. This is the last day. This is September 30th. It's the last day of the third quarter. So we're gonna today sum up the third quarter for you. Make sure you understand what it tells us as we walk into the final quarter of 2024. The overarching story of the third quarter this year has been ever increasing inventory, and that's for 2 quarters in a row actually, just nothing but up on our supply of homes ready for sale. And then in this quarter, we also just saw essentially stagnant demand, we saw stagnant pricing, and we saw mortgage interest rates come down a full percentage point, really in the last couple of months. So what this sets up for us as we head into the fourth quarter and colder winter months, when seasonally we would expect less demand anyway, home prices coming down moderately. Now, we would expect demand to come down and therefore home prices probably coming down moderately in any winter season. And the only thing that could throw that for us this year as we head into fourth quarter is the fact that those mortgage interest rates have come down a full percentage point. That really, it would throw a real wrench in it if they came down more, but 6% is still higher than we're used to after the last like 5, 6, 7 years of interest rates. Well, cutting out the previous 2 years, right? They started rising in 2022. February of 2022 is when interest rates started rising from their super low of like 2%. Okay, but for like 5 years, even 10 years before that, 6% mortgage interest rates was not seen. We were in the 3s, 4s, and 5s, which was the lowest that like America's housing economy had ever seen mortgage interest rates. And they hung out there for kind of long, and it was unsustainable, and they partially are responsible for how high home prices got over the last few years. But okay, so mortgage interest rates have not come down so much that I would anticipate it actually brings up demand through winter. But come next spring, you guys, we have room in our amount of supply now for supply to fall 1,000, maybe even 2,000. Honestly, we have room to fall all the way to 7,000 available homes for inventory, which would be like a 4,000 drop in our inventory. We have room for that to happen before we got to where we started last spring with. And I highly doubt we'll drop by 4,000 available homes across the course of winter. That would require a high level of demand that we wouldn't anticipate right now. So that being the case, and mortgage interest rates being where they are and going in the direction they're going, which is down, I don't anticipate demand or home prices to pick up through the winter, but next spring, with mortgage interest rates continuing to go down, we will be in the 5s next spring, and we will be in a place where our level of supply is healthy, and we will precipitate a more healthy level of demand than we've seen in the last few years, and next spring will elicit a more healthy housing market. The only difficulty is we didn't quite see the correction in housing prices across the last 2 years that we would have liked to see. We'll step into a more healthy housing market in terms of where supply and demand are, but our home prices got to record highs, and we saw that stagnate, and it might come down a little bit across this next winter, but it's definitely not going to waterfall dive. So we'll be in a healthier place, interest rates will be more helpful, and over the winter we might come down a little bit, but come next spring is when I hope, if you've been hoping to buy a house in the last couple of years and it just hasn't made sense yet, I hope you've gotten into the market by next spring, because next spring is when the demand will shoot up again. Again, to sum up this third quarter that's finishing up today. Increased inventory, stagnating demand, stagnating prices, and mortgage interest rates came down by a full percentage point. That's the story of the third quarter. Let's go ahead and check out some numbers. Actually, do you have any questions about anything first? If you don't, that's cool.
Zero questions.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
No. I mean, again, maybe that just means I'm a fantastic explainer.
True.
That's what I'd like to think. That's what I'd like to believe. Okay.
Everyone's probably just like, ask them about this or that or that. I'm just like, la la la.
Are you just zoning out while I'm yammering away?
No, I'm like, damn, he's making sense.
Love to hear that. All right, thank you, Doraldini. Okay, the numbers. Currently, our inventory stands at 11,334. That's up about 100 from the previous week, so continues to go up. Average days on market came down by just a day from the previous week to 49, but on average, we see this coming up. It's heading up, as it always does in winter, fall, autumn, winter. It's heading up. Average list price this prior week came to $674,630, and that's up from the previous week. But guys, it still lands us right at the average that we've been looking at all quarter and really all the second quarter as well. So still averaging about $650K for the average list price here in Utah. Now, average sold price last week came to $664,773, which means the difference between average list price and average sold price last week came to $9,857 in the buyer's favor. Again, the strangest anomaly on that chart with that 1 day, 2-3 weeks ago, where it was like, on average, homes are selling for like over $1 million more than they are being listed at. That was the weirdest thing. But crazy. Yeah, really, I mean, if we were to take this number, list versus sold price, and chart like the last 2 years, you would see that it's pretty level average at about $10,000 under list price that homes are sold for. And that just tells you where the market has been across the last 2 years. As interest rates got high and as home prices were at record highs, things tended to be negotiated a little bit in the buyer's favor, but not hugely. The number of homes sold last week came to 603, up from the previous week, but we see overall this chart headed down across the third quarter. But we also see that the last 4 data points on this graph are trending up. Now, as we switch to the number of homes under contract, currently at 5,093, which is down just a little bit from the previous week, homes sold and homes currently under contract are the 2 ways for us to look at the current level of demand. Homes sold came up the last month, probably because the number of homes under contract came up across the course of the last month. Neither of those trends are on such an upward surge that we would expect them to continue at their pace. Really, they've just been touching on the higher reaches of the limits that they've been within to keep demand looking stagnant across the quarter, but we'll see. Okay, the number of price reductions that occurred last week on homes on the market came to 1,197, up a little bit from the week before that. The number of listing contracts that were either canceled, expired, or withdrawn last week came to 329, up just a smidge from the week before that. Next week will be the first Monday of a month, and so we'll see it spike, as we always see that spike on the first Monday of any month. But this looks to be trending moderately up, and that may just have everything to do with the fact that there are more homes on the market in the first place. And finally, interest rates are now sitting at 6.21%, up just a little bit from last week. We did see this come down a full percentage point across the third quarter. And you know what? If we were to look at the data points for interest rates across like the entire year up till the beginning of the third quarter, we'd see that number hovering around 7. We'd see 7.1, 6.9, 7.02, 7.1, 6.9, and it did that all year until the third quarter here. And that's it for this week, guys. Let me know if you've got any questions. Do you have any questions at this point?
Questions.
No? Still explaining things like a master explainer here. I credit my parents, who are both public school teachers their entire career. So yeah, if you've got any questions about anything that we said here, just hit us in the comments. I'll be more than happy to respond. If you or anybody you know is looking to buy or sell a home in Utah in the coming months, especially between now and next spring, it's gonna be one of the best times to buy, one of the smartest times to buy real estate in Utah, I think, for the next like 5 years. price. So if you know anybody that fits that, you know I know this market like the back of my hand. I wanna make sure in working with you, you always know what's happening next, you know what to expect, and you never feel like blindsided by anything that happens in the course of your home search and purchase. That's what I'm all about. I wanna make it as stress-free for you as possible. And as always, if you'd like to stay educated on Utah's real estate market, there's not gonna be a better way than to hit subscribe and stay educated on that with me from week to week. Thanks guys, have a good one.